Australia is home to some of the world's most unique wildlife, but many species are on the brink of extinction due to habitat loss, climate change, invasive species, and human activity. One of the most critically endangered is the leadbeater's possum. This tiny nocturnal marsupial was once thought extinct until it was rediscovered in 1961. It relies on old-growth forests in Victoria's Central Highlands, which are rapidly disappearing due to logging and bushfires. Without significant conservation efforts, its population will continue to decline. Another species facing a dire future is the northern Corroboree frog. This small, brightly coloured amphibian is highly sensitive to environmental changes. Its numbers have plummeted due to habitat destruction and a deadly fungal disease known as chytridiomycosis. As climate change worsens, the already fragile populations are struggling to survive. Conservation programs are working to breed these frogs in captivity, but reintroducing them to the wild remains a challenge. The western swamp tortoise is another species hanging by a thread. Found only in a few wetland areas of Western Australia, this small reptile is one of the most endangered turtles in the world. It relies on seasonal swamps that are disappearing due to urban expansion and reduced rainfall. Conservationists have launched breeding programs, but with such a limited habitat, ensuring its survival remains an uphill battle. Australia's largest gliding mammal, the greater glider, is also in trouble. Once common along the eastern coast, this nocturnal marsupial has seen its numbers drop dramatically due to deforestation and the effects of climate change. The glider depends on large, hollow-bearing trees for shelter, but land clearing has destroyed much of its habitat. Without urgent intervention, this remarkable animal could disappear from many parts of its range. The Regent honeyeater, a striking black and yellow bird, has suffered a similar fate. Once found in large flocks across southeastern Australia, it is now incredibly rare. Habitat destruction has left the remaining population fragmented and struggling to find food sources. Conservationists have attempted captive breeding and habitat restoration projects, but the species remains at serious risk of extinction. The eastern curlew, one of the largest migratory shorebirds, is also on the decline. It breeds in Siberia and migrates to Australia for the summer, but coastal development has severely impacted its feeding and resting sites. Wetland destruction and pollution have made survival increasingly difficult. Despite conservation efforts, their numbers continue to fall, raising concerns about the future of this long-distance traveller. Another species in crisis is the mountain pygmy possum. Found only in the alpine regions of Victoria and New South Wales, this tiny marsupial is facing habitat loss due to climate change and ski resort developments. Warmer temperatures threaten the availability of its primary food source, the bogong moth. Conservationists have attempted to create artificial tunnels and habitat corridors, but the population remains critically low. The Gouldian finch, known for its brilliant plumage, was once widespread across northern Australia. However, habitat destruction and changes in fire patterns have led to a dramatic decline. Illegal trapping for the pet trade has also played a role in its population drop. While conservation programs have helped stabilise some populations, the bird is still at risk of disappearing from the wild. The Tasmanian devil, famous for its powerful bite and aggressive behaviour, faces a different kind of threat. A contagious facial tumour disease has decimated wild populations, reducing their numbers by over 80% in some areas. Conservationists have established disease-free populations on isolated islands and in captivity, but the battle to save this species is far from over. Finally, the greater bilby, a nocturnal marsupial once found across much of Australia, now survives only in isolated pockets. Habitat destruction, competition with invasive species like rabbits, and predation by foxes and feral cats have pushed it to the brink. Conservation efforts, including predator-free enclosures and reintroduction programs, have helped, but without continued intervention, this unique species could be lost forever. Australia's endangered species face enormous challenges, but conservation efforts are ongoing. Without urgent action, many of these animals could disappear within our lifetime.